Hello, and thanks for joining us on this edition of the Newsfeed. I'm Javeria Zulfkar.
And I'm Alice Buckley. Early voting for the general election has begun in the NRV. Early voting started on September 22nd and will be available until November 4th. Voters in the NRV area are encouraged to go to the elections office located in Christiansburg, Virginia. The ballot drop-offs are available from 8:30 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. when the office closes. The appeal of early voting is the ability to vote on your own time. Director of Elections Connie Veier touched on advantages and potential disadvantages to early voting, according to voters she had seen in previous years.
A lot of voters like the convenience. They can come when they choose. They can come on their lunch hour. They can come before or after work. They have 45 days to do so. We are also open 2 Saturdays, but prior to Election Day. The disadvantages, the only thing that I can think of is if a candidate were to drop out, God forbid, pass away, something of that nature, your vote is already cast. So if you wait till Election Day, some of those things would have transpired and you would know all of the information on Election Day.
Numbers of early voting last election are significantly higher. Officials at the election office say it's potentially too early to tell what the turnout will be. The last day to register for early voting is October 18th, but you can vote up until Election Day.
Since the Black Lives Matter protests of 2020, Confederate monuments in Virginia are being replaced by new heroes like Henrietta Lacks. What might this tell us about the trend or about the way our society is changing? The new Henrietta Lacks statue stands outside the Roanoke Municipal Building in Henrietta Lacks Plaza, formerly called Robert E. Lee Plaza. Earlier this year, Arlington Cemetery removed the Confederate memorial from its property under order of the Department of Defense, and in 2021, the Emancipation and Freedom Monument replaced another Robert E. Lee monument in Richmond. Larry Bechtel, the artist who created the Lacks statue, confirms that he sees a movement towards diversity in the work he and his fellow sculptors have been commissioned for. The greater significance of the Henrietta Lacks Memorial is not lost on him.
Stands in the very place where a symbol of oppression stood for some 90 years, a memorial to Robert E. Lee. Wow, this is incredible, man.
There are many in the state who want to preserve these Confederate monuments. Just last month, the governor asked VPI to accept the memorial removed from Arlington Cemetery, but it is clear that Virginians are redefining the kind of historical figures they choose to represent them and their values.
As Fire Prevention Week unfolds in Blacksburg, Fire Station Number 3 is taking the lead in promoting a critical message, and it's a lot more than just putting out fires. The Newsfeed's Alicia Baker joins us with more on this year's unique theme capturing everyone's attention.
Located in Blacksburg, Virginia, Fire Station Number 3 is at the forefront of Fire Prevention Week. This dedicated team of firefighters operates 24/7, ensuring rapid response times to protect their community while also taking the lead charge in promoting fire safety. Fire Prevention Week goes beyond firefighting. It's a time for education and community engagement. Fire Station Chief Todd Jones shares his perspective on this significant annual event.
Fire prevention is a year-long thing. We just celebrated on the week of October the 4th through the 12th. So at that time, we remind students and families about fire safety and fire prevention. This year's theme is kitchen fires and pay attention to fire safety. Each year there's a different theme when it comes to fire prevention.
As Fire Prevention Week approaches, running from October 8th to 14th, this year's 2023 theme revolves around cooking safety starts with you. It underscores the importance of simple steps in reducing the risk of at-home fires, especially in the kitchen. The spotlight is on the message that fire safety isn't about extinguishing flames, but preventing them, educating the community, and fostering safety at home. I'm Alicia Baker, reporting live from outside Moss Arts Center on Turner Street. Next to the firefighter control room, fire officials are encouraged and committed to protect and educate the public about essential measures to minimize the risk while cooking at home, ensuring safety for yourself and your loved ones. Back to you in the studio.
Just ahead on the news feed, the VT Theater Department is putting on an interesting play titled Sleep Deprivation Chamber.
And the Sinkland Farms Pumpkin Festival is back in Christiansburg for the fall season. That story and more after this break.
Hi, I'm Smokey Bear, and I made an assistant to help you out, because only you can prevent wildfires.
Hey, Assistant Smokey Bear, call me Papa Bear, because I'm grilling up dinner. Do you get it?
Yes, good job.
So, what should I do with all these coals?
Don't just toss them out. Put them in a metal container because those embers can start a wildfire.
I understand. The stakes are high.
Ha 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 ha.
See, Smokey thinks I'm funny.
Welcome back to the newsfeed. I'm Javeria Zulfkar. The Blacksburg Town Council recently received news that they will be receiving a grant which will provide the town with some much-needed money for renovations. Part of the plan will be to renovate bike lanes around the Blacksburg area, which has many cyclists breathing a sigh of relief. Newsfeed reporter Duncan Wygand has more.
The Blacksburg Town Council has recently made strides to improve bike lanes around the Blacksburg community. Officials say they are working on adding more lanes and even renovating old lanes to keep Blacksburg cyclists safe. The money that will be used to renovate the bike lanes will come in the form of a federal grant from the Energy Efficiency and Conservation Block Program. Jerry Ford, a member on the Town Council, hopes the $76,000 funds that they receive will help make biking a lot safer in Blacksburg.
Money comes in and then the council will have to appropriate it. That basically means we're going to accept it and then we put it in a pot where it will be used for the specific projects. That's part of how town council works.
The town plans on making bike lanes bright green while also adding more lanes in areas with high traffic, such as Price's Fork Road, an area that had seen its fair share of motor vehicle and cyclist accidents, including one in 2019 at the intersection of Price's Fork and Tom's Creek, where the driver hit a cyclist in the bike lane. While the commitment to renovate lanes is a step in the right direction for some, people like Dave Abraham, who owns a used bike and repair shop called Hokey Spokes, believe more work needs to be done.
In the right direction, and I think it's not an either or. I think indeed more improvements I can hope will be made.
With the grant money still on the way and voting on allocation of funds still need to be completed, Ford and the council do not have a set timeline on when the renovations will start, but he hopes the money will arrive in the spring. Reporting for the newsfeed, I'm Duncan Wygand.
Fall is in full swing at Sinkland Farms in Christiansburg, Virginia. Sinkland has opened for the new season with even more new activities for kids and adults alike. With their corn maze, horse rides, 10 acres of pumpkins, and more, Sinkland has been a go-to spot for families for years. But they're stepping up their game this year with some fresh and fun changes.
Here we have added and expanded the kids zone, adding a ropes course, the mega slide. We have new bands coming on weekends, Saturdays and Sundays. We have a different band every afternoon, so you won't be hearing the same one twice.
Adults are encouraged to come down to test out both of Sinkland Farms' brand new slides. One is an enclosed tube slide and the other is an open 150-foot long slide. Sinkland Farms also invites adults to try their new apple cider wine slushie.
Book fairs bring nostalgia of going to school to buy the latest Diary of a Wimpy Kid book or a 50-cent glow-in-the-dark eraser. Often ending by middle school, book fairs are geared toward elementary school students. A local book fair in Blacksburg caters to the needs of adult book readers in the area. Reporter Dakota Richmond has more on the story.
The YMCA at Virginia Tech held their annual book fair. The book fair stretched over the first weekend in October. It is one of the biggest held book fairs in Southwest Virginia. The prices of the books vary depending on condition and value. Prices started as low as 50 cents with attendance free to the community. There are a variety of different genres to choose from, including but not limited to religion, romance, science and math, and even books on childcare. The book fair received a decent turnout from the local community, but it sparked a question of relevance regarding book fairs. Are book fairs or mostly physical copies of books useful in a majority digitalized society?
I feel like both digital and hard copy books both have their pros and cons. I most definitely am a hard copy girl, but that's only because I love to collect books. And I also love to be able to put Post-its and highlight the book.
Caitlin Griffin, a Virginia Tech librarian, discussed how her grad research at a university library showed which areas of discipline students preferred print or ebooks.
Students and interviews with students and kind of found some trends in where they liked to read physically and where they liked to read digitally. So digital texts were preferred for things like research or like certain disciplines, but if they were reading it, like especially pleasure reading, like recreational reading, it was almost always print.
Despite living in a new digital age, print books are still relevant among students and the younger generation. Reporting from Blacksburg, I'm Dakota Richmond.
Virginia Tech's theater department has been in the process of rehearsing their fall show, Sleep Deprivation Chamber, a story that brings awareness to police brutality against African Americans. Newsfeed reporter Colleen Hannaberry tells us more about the show and the people at Virginia Tech behind this production.
Sleep Deprivation Chamber, a semi-autobiographical play written by Adrienne Kennedy and her son, Adam P. Kennedy, that explores their experiences with police brutality. David R. Gammons, the director of Sleep Deprivation Chamber and visiting assistant professor of directing for the School of Performing Arts at Virginia Tech, explains the style of this unique production.
It's a really challenging play to work on, in part because it has an unconventional dramatic structure. It's episodic. It uses dream structures and memory structures as well as documentary material. So it really interweaves a lot of different performance styles.
In the 1990s, Adam P. Kennedy was pulled over in Arlington, Virginia for a broken taillight where he was then beaten and arrested for assaulting a police officer. Both Kennedy and her son are portrayed as characters in the play, Suzanne Alexander and Teddy. It follows the story through Suzanne's memories of Teddy's trial and the pleading letters she writes to the governor. In them, she mentions her feelings of helplessness as a mother and details other historic instances of racial profiling and discrimination to convince them to take action. Even today, its message is still relevant.
I've experienced everything that this play is telling. So it really resonates with me because I'm just not the only person that's going through this. There's so many people of color that have to deal with this, that feel scared. And I feel like I can help be a voice for other people to show them, we can get through this, to shed light. Like, this is a prevalent issue that is continuing to happen that we need to talk about it.
Sleep Deprivation Chamber, performed by the students at Virginia Tech, opens on November 7th and goes till the 11th. Reporting for the Newsfeed, I'm Colleen Henneberry.
And that will wrap up this edition of the Newsfeed. If you have a story idea for the Newsfeed, let us know. Send us an email at thenewsfeednrv@gmail.com, or you can connect with us on the Newsfeed on our socials. Thank you for watching. I'm Javeria Zulfkar.
And I'm Alice Buckley.